So here is day 2 of 3. Again, we're after this end of day 2, then we're halfway through the game. We have this one, night, and then day and night for the last rounds. So we're kind of in a time crunch in order to reveal the last of these. And typically, I think the way to think about the way I've always certainly played is try and reveal them all before the end of day or night 2, so that day 1 we can assault one, and day 3 we can assault one of them, and night 3 assault the last one. So wherever those might be, these core tiles definitely are more dangerous than these. There's going to be dragons. There might be some more of these, but there will be dragons. And there's going to be some other places. This has been kind of boring, to be honest. I'm hoping to find some pretty dangerous enemies out here because I really want to show the game. We haven't seen a few enemy types. And I really do want to show how dangerous this is. It doesn't seem that dangerous right now, but it can be pretty difficult. Anyway, let's draw our 5 cards. We've got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, perfect. And let's see what those are. Okay. Well, we start off with the Emerald Ring, a Swiftness, a 2 Swiftness. Got to do a better job shuffling, I guess. I don't know. And then the other 2, we have the other 2 greens, I guess I should say, Tranquility and Force of Nature. So what we can do here is, I think we're going to be assaulting both of them. We want to challenge this Rampaging Orc. I think that one was called Sorcerer of some kind. Shrouded Necromancer. And then these are Sorcerers, right? So we definitely want to get rid of all of this. In order to do this one, we need to move 5 to enter the hex, and then we assault it. We can make an attack from here, so we don't need to do anything for these Shrouded Necromancers. So I might do that since I don't have a lot of movement, but let's first choose an initiative. Tactics is what they're actually called. I know they're not initiative, but it says it right there. When you take this tactic, so these are called tactic cards, I guess, but it's initiative. I feel like is the same. So we definitely don't want early bird. Rethink would be a good way to get rid of up to 3 of the cards. And I mean, honestly, we could like drop Tranquility. We could drop the Emerald Ring if we wanted to, because we have 2 green crystals here in our inventory, and we do have a gold up there. So we could potentially discard this with Rethink. Let's see here. Discard like these 2 and maybe this one, and try to find some movement cards. That wouldn't be a bad idea either. Monosteel we're not going to take, but Great Start allows me to just draw 2 cards. So I think I'm going to take Great Start instead of Rethink. Rethink kind of, we could get 3 cards instead of just 2, but in taking Great Start, we get 2 cards on top of the 5 that we have in our hand now. So I'm going to take Great Start, and immediately that just draws 2 more cards. So 1, 2, and those are Battle Versatility. Okay, that's helpful. And Promise, not so helpful. Not helpful at all, actually. So that means we can just use it for a move or something like that. But So we've taken this. This just goes away now. We don't need to remind ourselves what our initiative is. We do know that the dummy is going to go first. Let's see what their tactic is. Early bird. So that gives me a good choice for next time. The last day, we can take Mana Steel to take one from the source up here, going second, or we can take Rethink to discard some cards and have a rethink about our starting hand for the day, and then we'd be going first. So anyway, we'll put these back, and that means that Wolfhawk, our dummy, is going to be going first. So 1, 2, 3. It's blue, so it is one more card drawn. It's white. That's good because we don't need to draw 4 more for that one. So let's have a think here. How are we going to take on both of them? We can take both on immediately by moving into this hex, and we're going adjacent to this one, and that one would join this fight. Now, that would be good. I would do something like that if I had the movement, and I don't have the movement. Another thing to keep in mind here is this mage tower is fortified, and this enemy, because of that icon, is also fortified. So ranged attacks are not going to work during the ranged siege phase. They'll work as normal attacks during the attack, but then we have to see what their attacks are going to do to us. So I'd rather be doing siege attacks against both of them. Now, I don't have siege attacks, of course. Oops. I don't have siege attacks enough to do something like that. I've got this 3, and that's not enough. Right. But I do have battle versatility, which has a siege attack of 2. So 3, 4, 5, and then I have this for 6. So that is enough siege if I can get a movement of 5 to get into that, the mage tower. And I definitely want to do that. I could use both of my swiftness. That's a move 2 and a move 2. And then just play, let's say, Promise. I could play Sideways. That's a move 5. But my fear is that let's say I do that, I have to come up with Siege 11 in order to make them not attack me. And that I can definitely not do with these cards. I could also heal my peasants to come up with a move 2, and then I can use one of those, let's say one of those swiftness for an attack 3 in the attack phase. So anyway, we have red, gold, and white up in the source, and I say let's do it because I have some ways of blocking what this attack might be. This little thing here has a list of all the types of enemies that we're going to be fighting, and it actually has a number of those that are available in that. If this one was to be summoned by that, it's right in front of me, the Shrouded Necromancers, well, then we'd have to come up with block 1, block 2, or block 1 and block 1. That's pretty simple. The one that kind of scares me the most is this one, I guess, because that's an attack of 7. But otherwise, it's a lot of attack 3s and 4s, and they're not that terrible. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's move in, and make this attack all at once instead of splitting them up. First, I think what I need to do is get my peasants back. So I'm going to play Tranquility right now for a heal of 1. That's going to throw away or heal my peasants because they're level 1, remember. So I only need a heal of 1. In order to heal my Utem crossbowmen, I need a heal of 2 because of their level. So that goes away. So now I can use my my peasants in this upcoming battle, and I think that's going to be helpful. And I think I'm just going to use them for the movement. I need the extra movement, and I'd rather use swiftness for an attack instead. That does mean I have to play one of these. So let's bring those cards down here. I will play move 2 from swiftness, and then that influence is going to be played sideways. So now I have 2, 4, 5. That puts me, or Arythea, not me, into the Mage Tower. Now, because I'm assaulting a fortified location, as before, that's going to reduce my reputation further by 1, so we're back at -2 up there. So now it is battle stations, and I have to come up with either Siege 11 to take them both out immediately, or I can take one out with Siege 5 or 6, and then deal with the consequences of an attack, either through blocking or taking wounds, and then it moves on to the normal attack phase where anything that says attack, is it ranged attack or siege attack or fire attack, or because they don't have any resistances to fire, ice, or physical, I can use any attack that I want. So we're definitely going to take them on immediately. We can take them out, as I discussed before. We have battle versatility for siege attack 2. We can use the red from the source. So we have 2, 3, and then a green crystal from our inventory on force of nature, making that siege attack 3, 4, 5, 6. So they have been destroyed. We can remove them altogether. Now it is an attack from them. I think it's going to be okay, even if I have to take a couple wounds from them. So what I have to do is we open up this little sack here and pull a random token from it and see what that attack is going to be. That one feels like a good one there, right? Oh, that's the bad one, guys. That is the bad one. So all we have to understand here is this is not coming to do anything to us. Like, all the information on the top and the bottom is useless to us. All we want to know is the attack value and anything that goes along with it. So basically this covers that. What I like to do is just cover up that little icon there so that this is the attack, but we still fight this. This is an attack of 7. So either, and one more thing. This icon here means it's cumbersome. And cumbersome means that we can use movement in any shape or form. So we can play a card sideways. I can use swiftness for the move 2, and that reduces the damage output. So if I just play a card sideways, then this is going to be reduced by 1. So it would be an attack of 6. So this is one case where you can reduce the attack by playing instead of block movement, or we can come up with block 7, and that would fully block it as well. We can do a combination, of course. Let's say we play swiftness for 2, that makes it 5. Then we only need to come up with 5 block, or it does 5 hits on us. So 7, how do we come up with 7 movement and or block, or do I just take the hits? So I think what we have to do, again, and these poor peasants, they're going to soak up 3 of the 7. I'm not going to be able to block any of this. I definitely don't want to play Emerald Ring sideways to reduce that attack, and I need swiftness for the attack to finally kill off these shrouded necromancers. So those cards are basically off limits. They're going to take another wound. That makes them, or that brings it down to 4. 7 minus 3 is 4 more hits have to come through. My armor is 3, so that means I have to take 2 wounds in order to fulfill the 7. Again, 3 is 1, 3 is another 1, and then there's 1 left over, so I have to take that extra wound. It's not so bad, actually, because we have this. I can use these wounds to create red or black mana tokens. So it's not as bad as it sounds. She's actually one of the few characters that are good at taking wounds. So, and I think she's the only one that can produce black mana. So we're going to take these 2. These go into our hand. So now we have 4 cards in our hand at the moment. All right. So this thing goes away now. We don't have to worry about it ever again. I guess I could put it back, but I think it just gets discarded. And then this I now have to deal with for 5. And we can do that with our crossbowmen. This is an attack or block of 3 or a range attack of 2. So we'll just use the attack 3. And then I'll use swiftness with a white crystal from our inventory for a range attack 3. That's an attack of 6, which is surely enough for that at 5. So both are gone. Yeah, that was an expensive round, but we're going to be getting quite a bit from this, and we're actually going to level up as well, which is really good. And it all happened in 1 turn, so we don't have to make an attack and then move and make another attack in the future round. No, we've got it all gone in 1 round. So let's pop up here real quick. And what we're going to do is take a couple of these, our character tokens. They go onto the locations to say that they've been cleared by us. And then we do a bit of cleanup, of course. So these crystals, mana tokens, whatever, they go away. We re-roll. Ooh, that's really good. This comes back. We can use at a later time. And all of this gets discarded. We played 6 cards in order to take on these 2 locations in 1 turn. That's not terrible, but it was a pretty expensive turn. And they're wounded again. Okay, so that's my hand for now. We've taken out, let's come back over here. We've taken out both of them. We gain 3 and 5 fame for this. That's 8 fame. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're now at 25 fame, and we've leveled up again. So let's do that really quickly. This gets flipped over. So we now have space for another command, another unit. And let's see, this one also has that little, I don't really know what that, like a walrus ram, maybe a saber-tooth tiger with a ram's. Don't really know what kind of animal that would be, but we pulled another one of these. So this one is, we can add attack to a value that we play. This one's called Vial of Toxin up here. One source of physical attack, so at the bottom, that the bang there, the exclamation point means not ice, fire, or cold, or cold fire, which is something other than ice and fire. It's a combination of both. Gains +3 if it's a normal attack, 2 in range, or 1 in siege. One source of physical attack. Bonus is lost if the attack is no longer physical. Yeah. So let's put that in our space there. This is going to be really good. What that means is, let's say we play it with the Utem crossbowman, that's 4. This is a source of ranged attack, so it would be 2 + 2. This is also +1 for any siege. Look at that. This became a 2. Of course, it's only a one-time use, but it'll come in handy eventually, right? These two go away, okay? And finally, one more thing. We also gain a reputation because we took on a rampaging orc or enemy. And finally, we can take a spell from the spell offer because we, as a reward for taking on a mage tower and succeeding. So let's take a look at these because we haven't taken a look at them yet. Call to Arms, Call to Glory. This is really good for taking units, particularly the bottom here. Recruit any one unit from the unit's offer for free. Pretty sweet, right? There are some exceptions to that rule, of course. And the weaker one is you may use an ability of a unit in the unit's offer as if it was one of your recruits, but we cannot assign damage to it. Still really good because some of these units have some really good abilities, and maybe we don't have the influence. We haven't been focusing on influence to hire, so we can just use one of those abilities. That's pretty cool. How about Tremor? Well, Tremor kind of excites me because we have the Emerald Ring. That might be a good thing for us to pick up. Target enemy gets armor -3, or all enemies get armor -2. Armor cannot be reduced below 1, so you can't just kill them with a Tremor. Earthquake, however, for a night or dark ability, target enemy gets armor -3, -6 if it's fortified, so kind of think like things are falling onto them. If they're in an open field, that's not so much, but if they're in a fortified location, maybe some rocks are falling, things like that, they're getting hurt. Or all enemies get -2 or 4 if they are in fortified, again, not below 1. This one is fantastic for those city assaults, because at night in particular, we can do a lot of damage with just this one ability. Meaning, we can make them all -4, and there can be like 3, 4, 5, 6 enemies inside of these cities, depending on what level you're playing. That one excites me the most, but I do like this one. I've had a lot of fun with this. Offering, gain a red crystal to your inventory if we have a lot of red abilities like attack and things like that. We don't at the moment. You can discard up to 3 non-wound cards from your hand. For each discarded, gain a crystal of the matching color to your inventory. And for an artifact, well, we get to choose one. That's cool. Let's say we spend a red, and then we can get 3 colors instead. One of them could be red. Or sacrifice, choose green or white. Then choose red or blue. gain siege attack 4. If you choose green, or range attack 6, if you choose white. So choose green or white. Do you want to go for siege or range? Siege 4, range 6. And then for each pair of those, let's see here. For each pair of crystals of one of each of these colors in your inventory, this attack, oh, and that's for each pair of crystals of one of each of these colors in your inventory. So let's say, I think it's green and white. So if you have green and white, oh, then turn all these crystal pairs into mana, meaning that they become tokens that we either have to use right away or they're gone. Again, I think this one is a difficult one, a complex one. I don't think I'm going to take that though. I think I'm going to stick with green because of that emerald ring. It would be difficult for me to say no to this card. Now, if I had the red, I guess it would be a ruby ring probably, giving me a load of reds, then I'd probably go for offering. And if it was white, I'd probably even go for this one too. So I think the white is diamond. Yeah, so we're going to take Tremor, Earthquake. This goes face down again, right on top. So we'll be getting it in our next turn, and which is not a good thing because we don't have a way of attacking at the moment. We have no one to attack. So, okay, that's the end of our turn. We take 1, 2 cards. Oh, that's right. Because we leveled up, our hand limit is now 6. Which is great. So we're up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards in our hand now. I think that's everything. White, green, red. So don't have to go anymore. They're going pretty slow this day too. That's pretty good. So let's see what the cards are. We know we are getting Tremor. We have Stamina, which is fantastic because of where we are. We're in the middle of the desert, and we really need a bunch of movement to get out of here. We could go, for instance, like 1, 2, whoop, I'm pointing with the tripod here, sorry. We could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to reveal some of these. Or we can go 1, 2, and then reveal immediately with that move of 4. And then Mana Pull, which is also very good. Very good. Okay, and then we know we have Tremor. So we really have to think here. We need to move. We need to get moving by quite a bit. We could head into this town to heal a little bit. Let's see. A village. Village healing is 3 influence. We need 3 influence. We could use this as 3 influence, if you remember that. I said that before. That healing that I discarded would be pretty helpful right now, but it came in handy here. Okay, so how are we going to play this? I do have the movement, but I don't have a lot of movement, just the move of 4. It might be, I think it's in our best interest to get out of this desert, right? Let's move to the, I guess, here, and then we'll reveal that tile, and then think maybe there's an enemy that pops up right there that we can deal with. So let's see if that happens. Stamina with the gold, with one of the golds, that's a move 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. No, okay. But it does have this, and it's pretty close, and it's we're able to get there. And we finally see one of these. This is I think it's called like a monster spawning ground or something like that. a monster den. Oh, there's spawning grounds and dens. So this is a monster den. If it had 2 entrances or 3 or whatever, then it would be a spawning ground. So cool thing about these, finally, is we can gain a couple crystals as a reward for defeating one of these tan enemies. The tan enemies can be a bit tricky, but there are some of them that are pretty easy too. So this goes just like that. And now it's just those core tiles that we talked about. All the countryside has been revealed, and now it goes to the core, the last 4. If we can get one of these revealed by the end of this round, then for the last 2 nights in the last day, we're going to see some better units from this pile. And we do have 1 more available. We'll probably end up getting rid of these guys, honestly. They can take a hit. That's pretty much all I use them for most of the time. After, of course, I use them for their abilities. Right, so let's fill those places out. We've got, since it's daytime, we see that, oh, that one's good. I like this one. It's 3 rampaging orcs, or 3 orc tokens, and the reward is a unit, any unit from the unit offer. That's right there. We reveal, or we don't reveal, but we pull a gray enemy. And this one is only revealed if we're standing adjacent to it and it's daytime. And this one we don't pull unless you're standing on, like if you go there and want to attack, then your action is going inside of the den and kind of attacking what's ever living in there. And I believe we can bring units into monster dens. I think the monster comes out, yeah. It's dungeons and labyrinths. No, dungeons you can't. You can't bring them into dungeons, and it's considered night, and the same for tombs. Yeah, none can go in there either. Okay. Okay, finally we're getting to see some good action here, but I'm happy with that last round. I'm just a little, I don't know what to do with those 2 wounds. I can discard one of them just to get like a red or black mana, and then just throw that away, I guess. Once a turn, discard a wound card to gain red or black mana. Oh, you must spend a mana token gained this way immediately, or you cannot use it. Okay, so we're not able to do what I was just suggesting, which is a total bummer, but red or black. Yeah, I don't have any red cards in my hand. So, okay, that's kind of my turn, because I have nowhere else, I have nothing else to do here. I could, let's say, play Emerald Ring just to get it out of my hand, gain a fame and a green crystal. That way I'm losing out on the green token, but I've already played 2 of my green ability cards, or deed cards. The other 2 are, well, there's concentration, and then there's 2 march cards with a bunch of movement. So I could either hold out for that and just take 1 card now, or I put a card sideways, or I just play like a couple cards sideways to get moving. I don't like that idea. So I'm gonna, unfortunately, play Emerald Ring, and I realize now I should have played Emerald Ring back in the day, that first turn for that attack, and I could have played the mana token instead of the crystal, and then I would be also gaining another crystal. So I'm going to play this just to gain a green crystal, because I need to move on. I I can't just play one card here. I mean, I could, but I would need to up my chances of getting some movement cards. Yep. Okay. So, and then one more fame and a green token, but the green token is lost immediately. So now I draw 2 more cards. 1, 2, and then we go over to the dummy. The 3rd card is a blue, so 1 more card for them. And okay, let's see what those 2 cards are. Oh wow, okay. Well, that's pretty good. March and stamina. So 2 movement cards. Now I feel like I should probably, oh, of course I need to re-roll from the last turn. That's a white. Discard those 2 cards. We have 2 whites and a gold up in the, man, yeah, up in the source now. So I've pulled the movement, and now I don't have the now I don't have the attack here. But I think what I can do is play mana pull, and we can use the heavier, the stronger effect with a white. We take 2 mana dice from the source, set them to any color except for gold, so we can make them green and blue, for instance, and then have just a ton of movement and get ready for either attacking these places or attacking here if we want to start bringing in some of these core tiles, maybe even circling over to here to see what's behind that over here instead. So we can go kind of south and then back up. We can just go up, or we can move back to the west of where she's standing, and we would have movement of 8 if we need it. And then we don't change them when we go back, so they can stay as blue and green, which would be better than 2 whites. But I would be using one of my whites. So I'd be changing that gold. Well, I could also use that gold for just like a move 4 and then use move 2 from March. And that would get me pretty much anywhere. I could go here and then here. That would be 3, and 3 is 6, which is what I would have. I could see about attacking here the next round while uncovering this. I could just go to here and uncover that immediately. I could move down to here and hope for some attack cards and then work on these while then going that way after. Because I do have a March and a Stamina still in the deck. I just hope that they don't show up now, right? So I think we get a chance at here a little bit, right? I kind of want to put Tremor to use in a situation like that where I can make them all have armor -2 and then attack. And then attack at weaker attacks. However, I'm just not sure if I'm going to be able to do it. But I have to do something here. So we're going to play Stamina, and we're going to play March, and we're going to use that gold. I'm going to keep those whites. That'll be helpful for this later. I'm going to play both of those. That's a movement of 6. That's going to put me down here so that I can try this out. Because if I can take both of them out, this would allow me to draw an extra card. So when I move north, maybe that'll be helpful. An extra 2 cards because I already own 1. I would get a free unit. I really do have to make this. I have to take this chance here. So here we go. That's my turn. And I don't have to make an attack here. My action is done. I don't have to make an action at all. I can just say that's it. So both of those cards are gone. That means I re-roll another gold. I'll take that. These two cards are discarded, and then we move over to dummy. 1, 2, 3. It's another blue, so just one more. Another blue yet. I don't have many more turns left. I have this one I'm about to take. They're going to have a turn, then me, and then they're going to say it's game over. No matter what cards are in here, they can't draw more. So I have 3 more turns left, and I have a lot of cards to tend with. So let's see which cards I get this time. And I'm hoping for an attack of some kind, right? So 1, 2. Well, there we go. There's 2 attacks right there. We've got a siege attack of 3 and an attack of 2. That with Tremor and also these tokens over here might be enough for this attack now. So we're going to do it. I'm not going to move this time, and I don't have any movement, which is even better. Man, it would be nice to get one of my red cards so I can discard this. Yeah, one of my rage cards would have been much better than determination, for instance. Okay, well, we're not moving. All we're going to do is make this like we skip the move phase, we go right into the action, and what it's going to be is that we draw 3 rampaging orc tokens. So let's do that real quick. Battle station. Here they go. Jumping around. Please don't give me anything disgusting. We'll take this one, and this one. Those 3 sounded better than the others. Okay. Here we go. First, oof, okay. So that has 3 attacks. We couldn't use block 3 to block all 3. We'd have to block 1, then block 1, then block 1. But you can see this one's also cumbersome, which means that we could come up with move 1, move 1, move 1. In either case, honestly, we'd have to put 3 cards sideways. That kind of, or we just make a ranged or siege attack against it. Next, this one is a kind of a vampire. Let's see here, a gibbering ghoul, or gibbering ghoul. And this one's vampiric, which means if it lands an attack, its armor increases by 1. So that would become a 5 if we can't kill it before it attacks us and we can't block it. So last, those cursed hags, we just have to come up with either a block 3 or an range attack 5. Okay, so we have here, nobody is fortified, which is a very good thing. We have armor 5, 4, and 5, and they have ice resistance. So something to keep in mind, which is a very easy thing to forget, look over, is if one thing I can't do, right, is come up with block 3 to block all 3 of those. No, I have to block each one. But I can combine the armor of 2 or more enemies, and the downside to this is that they all take the resistance of any that are in there. So in this case, if I came up with an attack of 14 would be enough to kill them. They all have ice resistance. If I did it this way, however, I come up with an attack 5 and an attack of 9, then this one has ice resistance and these do not. It's just one of those tiny rules that has a huge impact on gameplay. But I don't have any ice attacks, so it doesn't really impact me at all whatsoever. So the very first thing we have to do here, of course, when we claim victory over this, we're going to be gaining 2 of those tokens again, and then 2, 4, 7 more fame out of this. Because these aren't considering rampaging enemies, they're just coming from the orc type of token bag. We don't get any reputation from this, however. So let's see here. We've got Tremor. That's going to be really helpful. We'll play this with a green. Probably, let's see how we can, because everything is out in the open and revealed, then I can do this like 10 times to come up with the best solution. I'm just going to show you the end solution, though. Okay, and I've figured it out. We don't get to clean house right away, but we're in good shape for the next round. I'm using Tremor here with a green crystal from my inventory. Okay? All enemies, I'll be using the all enemies, get armor -2, which means this becomes a 3, a 2, and a 3. Okay. Then we come up here to monopole, and I use a white to change these 2. One of them is going to become green, and one of them is going to become blue. Okay? They go back up to the source, but I gain a blue and a green token. Now these are in my play area for the rest of the turn. Well, I'm now going to play Crushing Bolt, Siege Attack 3, with that green token. There it is. So now we have Siege Attack 3. Then I'm going to use this for Siege +1, and this one has to be Siege +1 because I don't have a ranged attack anywhere. I just have a Siege attack to add this on. So this becomes Siege 3, 4, 5. Well, I can kill, this one's 3, so that one's gone, and then this one is 2, so this one's gone. All right, so we don't have to contend with those anymore. Then I have to contend with this one. Well, I will use Determination, block 5, so that I don't take a wound from this, plus a wound to my discard pile. I just have to block this one. Well, there it is. Block 5. This one does not deal any damage to me. However, I don't have anything else to kill it. That uses all of my cards except for my 2 wounds. I would have really loved to be able to discard one of them. We'll be able to do that soon, I hope. So that's the end. I've killed 2. These 2 tokens here stay on the space that I'm standing on. So we haven't taken it out yet. And we just have to, next turn we can spend our action to then attack those cursed hags, and then we'll finally get that reward. I forgot to do this because we're in a hex adjacent to a fortified location. We can see what they are, and that's what they are. I think they're Utem swordsmen. I think that's what those are. Just swordsmen. So swordsmen are sitting in that keep there. Just in a physical attack of 6, 5 armor. Pretty normal enemy there. But anyway, that allows us to at least get something out of this. We've killed we're going to gain 4 fame from this and then 2 of those tokens again. So that should be helpful for playing this one again, right? So 4 fame, let's mark that. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll get, here are our 2 tokens. First is a move 2, and we can use this move as part of a move to get past a rampaging orc or a rampaging enemy. And then they don't rampage and attack us. Right, my card is right next to me. Let's see here. Oh, it's not that one. Yeah, it does not provoke rampaging enemies or enemies with ambush this turn. Also, any enemies pursuing you are not moved and do not attack you this turn. Those are some things that happen in other scenarios that we don't have to worry about, but at least we can use a move 2 and then we don't get attacked. Oh, we got 2 of them. Fantastic. That's 4 extra movement that we can use in the future to get out of here. That's really nice, actually. Okay, those 2 go away. And then we clean up all of these crystals and tokens. We re-roll a green. So now we have 2 greens and a blue up in the source. We lose that. This goes back to our area, and then we discard the rest of the cards that we used. Awesome. That was a good turn. Even though we didn't get to finish it, we're going to be able to take, I'm probably going to take these swordsmen, the guardsmen that is, for free. These can be pretty decent as well because they reduce armor. Yeah, those ones are pretty good too. The thugs, not so much. They can be good if you really don't care about reputation, but the problem is that you have to pay influence to make them perform in combat. So let's see. Oh, you have to pay 2 influence to assign damage to them, but they have 5 armor, so there's something to be said about them, I guess. Yeah, that's it. So we're down to 2 cards. We draw 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 6. That's good. We're only up to 2 cards in our pile now. And no matter what these are, 1, 2, 3, that's the end of the dummies deck, which means I have this turn. They're going to declare end of round, and then I have 1 more turn after that. So it's not looking too bad anymore. And I've got plenty of movement over here with the other march and stamina, so that once I am done fighting in this region, then I can get out of here. Maybe explore a quartile before I end the round. Okay, cool. This is perfect here. We've got Crystallize. There's one of our, that's the March, Rage, and Improvisation. Both red cards, we can use one of those wounds. We can't discard, we can't do this twice. We can do this once per round, either a wound or a normal deed card, a non-wound deed card, I should say. And in that case, we can get one of those tokens. Probably going to do that now because I don't have any way of getting red, and I want to take them on and destroy them. Destroy. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Our action is to stay right where we are and continue the fight. We need range 5 or siege, or it would be nice to block 3 of this. So we don't need this march. We're going to keep that for later. We do have, let's see, and then we need an attack of 5. Yeah, it's not looking good anymore. I guess I wanted to use this, but I don't think I can anymore. And I don't think I'm actually going to be able to do this without getting hurt either. Now I could assign the damage to the crossbowmen, but because it's poisoned, they're going to have to take a second wound, I believe. I think so. And I definitely don't like that, but this needs to be a discard. So probably crystallize to discard to play the top or the bottom. But I know that I need to, yeah, I think we're going to be fine. Yep, we're fine. False alarm here. I do want to discard a wound, so let's do that. And that gives me a red mana token. So what we can do is we say we're skipping the range and the siege. We're going right into this, their attack and our block phase. And we're going to block with improvisation while discarding crystallize. So that's that. It's now blocked. Then we go into the attack phase where we use rage with that red and +1 from our siege. That makes it attack 4, +1 is 5. And there it goes, dead. Fantastic. So which one do we want to take? I am kind of on the fence here. I do like the Utem Guardsman because it has a lot of block, and it's really good block because it counts twice against an attack with swiftness. So if it's an attack 4 or less with swiftness, then it's completely blocked. If it's an attack of 7 with swiftness, which it does exist, then at least 8 of that has been counted, and then we just have to come up with 6 more block to block the other 3 attack with swiftness. So this one's really good. The shock troops, however, kind of work with my tremor because, well, first, range attack 1, all your other attacks, or all your other units get +1 to all their attacks this turn. That's cool, but reduce armor and 1 attack of chosen enemy by 1. That's fantastic if in combination with tremor, right? We can further reduce their armor by 1, or reduce 1 enemy attack by 3. Any damage from that attack must be assigned to this unit first, even if the enemy had assassination. That's that little dagger, and that means the wounds have to be applied to us. In this case, we can apply it here. I do like these guys, but I don't know if I'm excited about taking them immediately. Because I could also try to get them at another time. But I don't think I have... I do have an influence card in here. I do. I know what these last 2 cards are. It's stamina and that other influence card. But I don't think I'd be able to hire them, particularly because I have -1 up there. So, yeah, I guess the reason I'm on the fence is this one costs more, but this one I like a little bit more, particularly because of the armor 5, and it blocks. So if my range and siege doesn't go through, then at least I have a really good block. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is take this. Now this means, unfortunately, that I don't think I'm going to be able to do what I want to do here. I think we're out of here. I don't think I can assault this place at all. I think this next turn is I'm leaving. Okay. Well, let's see what that does. I'm going to take Utem Guardsman. I think I think in most cases, shock troops are kind of slightly better, but in a roundabout way, whereas guardsmen are more stable. It has a good block and then it can take a good hit. So, all right, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this. All right, 3 more for this. 1, 2, 3. That's not enough to level up, but I'm so close. I just need 1 more. That goes away. This goes away. I put one of my tokens on that space to say that I've conquered it or beaten it. And then we go through the motion of getting rid of everything. Okay. Now here's our last 2 cards. Wolfhawk, the dummy, does not have any cards, so she declares end of round. It is our last turn now. Threaten. Oh, in concentration. I guess I didn't realize, did I play that one already? Oh, that came way earlier, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Okay. I forgot about concentration. That's okay because it's actually just as good. We can make it a move of 6. And then we have this influence, and that's not really going to be helpful. So let's see here. Maybe what we do is get out of here. I think that's the big thing that we should do, to be honest. I think we have to leave. So we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 movement to at least uncover the next tile. And from here, we can either move this way or this way. And it'll be dark soon, so this will be cheaper if this is weird. So we'll play concentration, and we'll use March for that ability. That gives us move of 6. And we'll be spending a green source, or green from the source. And then threaten sideways, which gives us move of 7. So what did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, that's right. I still have these. That's another move of 4. So let's think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 7, 10, 11. So I have 11 movement. I could come way over here and just say, whoops, sorry about that, Arythea. Just say screw this side and move this way and end in this forest. Now that would be good for making another attack over here. Maybe getting this in the night. I would need a ton of movement to get around over there, though. Another thing I could do as an option, but maybe a weaker option, is just move to here and then save stuff like this for like a big move in there. I don't know if I like that idea because then I'm right in the middle of the map and I'd have to spend a lot of move to get away from it again. I think I'm going to stay over here with my idea and just put 1 tile out. I'll save those +2 moves for another time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's what I'm going to do, and it's already revealed, so I can't do anything about it. Oh, that is rough. Okay, there's our first dragon and our first city, which is probably I think one of the easier ones. Okay, this means let's pull a dragon before I do anything else. Which one? This one or that one? That one. That is a really bad one. Most Draconum are pretty rough anyway, but an ice attack of 6 with paralyze, which means if I can't block that, and because it's an ice attack, I would need 12 physical block or 6 fire block or 12 ice block. In order to make these attacks, or the blocks, you have to do the opposite. So only fire works in this case. I think cold fire works too, but regardless, we'd have to come up with 6 fire block would be the best. And if it doesn't, then all of the cards in my hand are discarded, and that's it. That's the end of the turn. I don't get to make an attack against this in the attack phase if I can't block that. So the best thing to do with this is 7 fire ranged attack, or siege, or 14 of the others. And basically, what we could do something like, well, okay, this reduces it by 1 because it's a fire siege attack. This is physical range attack 2. So this only does 1. So that's 1, 2. And we can do stuff like that. It's obviously better to have ranged fire attack. And I think we do have one in our ability deck here. Way at the beginning, Battle Versatility has, let's see here. Well, this has fire block. Range attack 3. Fire attack 3 would be helpful, but we would have to block it first. So, all right. I think this one is a pretty rough thing for us to handle. And in order to, we would have to kind of, I think our best move is to get away from this and maybe go this way. Yeah, that's my thought. That's definitely my thought. In the case of, hey, like they soak up 5 and then we have somebody else soak up the other part of the wound, they just disappear. They don't come back. They go away. They're paralyzed and dead. So that's one of the worst ones that can be pulled. And because of where it is, I have to go all the way around. If I go here, well, actually, let me rephrase this. If I use these, I can walk right past it and it will never see us. So I've got a way of getting by it, but I'd have to make sure that like I use one to get here and then another to get here. But if I make the attack from this hex, it will rampage and attack us. Not cool. What this means, the city that is, what this is we now take the card. I'm just going to put this close by so that we know all of the enemies inside have a +1 to their armor. This is what the city icon looks like when we're recruiting. And once defeated, once it's ours, we can spend 2 influence to add, is it 1 more? We can add 1 more elite, that's the gold back unit, to the unit offer. So if maybe all of them have been, let's say we've somehow gathered enough influence to clean house with all of the units, well, we can add 1 more. Or we don't like any of them and we want to see what the next one is. We spend 2 influence to pull another one into the offer. So that's what this one is. Kind of the most, it's not very fun. But we can recruit a unit of any type here. So it doesn't necessarily have to come from a city, which is the case here. This one is only from a keep. So if we wanted to, for instance, take the shock troops, we could do it from the white city. That's not the case for the other ones. for the red, blue, and green cities, you have to recruit from the city. Additionally, the owner of the city, whether you're in or adjacent to the city, you increase your hand limit by 2, which is a huge thing if you also own this keep here. This keep in particular is a really good placement of this because you can attack from here, and if you own it, you're getting all of those other bonuses, so a hand limit plus at least 1 if you own that one. Okay. One final thing is on these little bases here, a pretty cool system, is you can see these dots in there. It says there's 2 whites and a gray. So we pull 2 whites, 2 city units, and a gray. And so those are the units, and they're not revealed until they work the same way for other fortified locations. During the day, if we're adjacent to it, then we can see we can reveal those. At night, we don't reveal them unless we're assaulting the city altogether. Okay, so from where we're standing here, it's the end of the round, and we still have our Utem guardsmen, but that's not going to be helpful for us at the moment. Okay, so that's it. That's the end of day 2. I would still roll that, but it doesn't mean anything. It's gold. This all gets put into the discard pile, and then we refresh. Since they've already called last round, we don't get another turn. We don't have anything to do anyway. We've got this 1 wound in our hand. And we refresh. I'm not going to show that again. I think you all get the idea. So we'll be right back with night number 2. All right, so let's draw 6 cards to our hand for night 2, and we'll choose a tactic and get rolling here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's check out what we've got here for the beginning. First up is swiftness and a wound. Tremor. Okay. Crystallize. March and march. Okay. Well, we've got a lot of movement here, including swiftness if need be. We have this tremor, which might be good, and then a wound, which would be good for the type of enemy that we're facing off right now, which is that ice dragon. Is that what that's called? Yeah, ice dragon. So we could use tremor to reduce its armor by 3. That would make it 4, and then we only need 8 physical siege or ice siege instead of 14, which we definitely wouldn't be able to get, but we might be able to get 8. And then, well, siege and range, that is, in combination. And then we don't have to worry about this. So that might be a good one for us. Let me have a think about that, and maybe I'll take this on before moving away. But we do have a lot of movement here with those 2 marches, and then we, as talked about before, we have 2 of these that we'd be able to maybe move once and then move again around the ice dragon in a way that we wouldn't have to face it at all. But that tremor might be a good thing for dealing with it, so we don't have to use all of these tokens and things. Let me have a think, and then I'll choose a tactic, and we'll be on our way. Okay, I think I've got like a really fun, cool plan here. I'm going to take preparation. I was kind of planning on it anyway because I don't want long night and I don't want from the dusk. Sparing power, I typically try to use it in the end if it's available. Preparation, I've got a perfect card for this, and I think I'll be able to take this out in, well, I will be able to take this out in this turn, though it's going to be costly. However, that's a pretty good thing to take out. So we'll take preparation. That means the dummy is going to choose between 1, 2, or 6. Which one? That one. 6. Darn. Okay. Well, at least we're going before it. That leaves 1 and 2 for the end. Typically, if I have this choice is, do I want to go first? Or am I okay going second with some sort of help? So we have up in the source black, red, and blue. Let's show you my plan here. Preparation. When you take this tactic, search your deck for any one card and put it in your hand, then shuffle your deck. Well, I've already found the card that I want, and I put it on the top here. Concentration. So we'll take this, we'll put it into our hand, and you're going to see some pretty fun stuff here. Okay. I even have a way of getting rid of this wound too, which is pretty cool. All right, we're not going to move. Let's take those 2 move cards, and we're going to just put that to the side. We will have some good fun with that later. I will be using all of these cards to make this happen, though. Yes, costly, but we do have time. We have 1 more day, 1 more night, and we've already found one of the cities, the White City. So let's get next to it and maybe do some movement around to try and find some other enemies as well. And then we will face it in the morning. Okay, so first thing I need to do is get a green. So crystallize will be used with a blue from the source. Gain a crystal of any color to your inventory while I want green. There it is. Put that into my inventory. I do have one other one, but I'm going to have to need that one. I need to use that one too. Pretty expensive, but as I said, this is going to be good, and it will give us a level up too. So next, tremor. However, because it's night, and because I have this, whoops, I can discard my wound and get a black token. And in this way, I can use earthquake instead of tremor. Well, it really doesn't do anything for us except it gets rid of our wound. That's the only thing that I'm looking for here. The enemy gets armor -3. It's the same thing as tremor, except if it's fortified, then of course earthquake is better than tremor. So I'm going to use this right now to discard this wound. That gets it out of my hand and gives me a black mana token. I have to use it now. I have to use it now because of the rule for this. I can't just discard it and then not need to use it, and then not use it. We're going to use green and black for earthquake. That drops the enemy's armor. Let's pull that guy over here. That drops the enemy's armor to 4. Armor -3, so 4. Cool. So now all we have to do has come up with 4 ranged and or siege attack. Well, I'll play the other green for this one here. Concentration on my swiftness ranged attack makes this a ranged attack 3 plus 2, so that's 5 ranged attack. That is not enough. So I use 2 more from the Utem crossbowmen. Now we're up to 7 ranged attack. That is not enough, but I've got something right there. A +1 siege. So I can use this to give me siege. I can use it as physical or fire. Let's say I use it as fire. So that drops the armor down to 3, and then I only need 6 more. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's perfect. I have enough to kill this, which is great, expensive. Obviously, you can see what I had to do to get rid of it. But I have to say that this is what makes me love this game so much. There are so many ways to take out enemies, to perform your turn. And if I had started out with a different hand, I might have found another way to kill this enemy. But you can see the kind of blood, sweat, and tears that you go through to figure out a puzzle in this game. And that's what I love about this. The replayability is just phenomenal because the puzzle can be solved so many ways. Okay, well, all this goes back to the stuff, the piles of tokens over there. That comes back, I can use it later. Same with that token. This has been killed. We'll come back to that. Let's roll our die for the source. That is a green. Of course, it's a green. And then all this goes away. That is 8. Well, and 2 reputation because it's a Draconum. The Rampaging Draconum give you 2 reputation instead of 1 that the orcs give you. So up here we go 1, 2. So now we're back into the 0. At least we're not negative anymore. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're almost to the next level already. So that goes away. I just kind of pile them all up in there. We can take a look at what we fought out there. And yeah, man, that was pretty awesome. Now we have a level up. Well, we have Blood of the Ancients is one that came in last time. Blood of the Ancients, gain a wound, pay a mana of any color, gain a card of that color from the advanced actions offer and put it into your hand. Just that by itself is pretty awesome to gain an additional card from the actions offer. The stronger ability is that you put a wound in your hand or your discard pile, and then you can use the stronger effect of any card available up here for free without paying its mana cost. However, the card stays up here, so you're not adding more cards to your deck if you don't want to. If you don't want to make this deck thicker, right? You want to be able to go through all of the cards in the deck, and by adding more and more cards to it, maybe you won't see all of those cards that you want. Or you just play all of those cards like in the way that I just did, play 5 cards in one round. That's a difficult task, but you can take on some pretty heavy things with that. Anyway, maximal effect, if I didn't show that, lets you burn a card. Basically, you throw a card away, and you can use the basic effect 3 times or throw it away and use the stronger effect 2 times for free. You don't have to pay for the mana cost of those either. So this is a way of getting cards out of your deck that you don't want, like those weaker basic cards. Hey, I could use this card, the top, make it a move 6, or make it a move of 8, while removing a move card that you probably don't need for the last round, something like that. And then Refreshing Walk. I'm on the fence here because I like both of these ones, and this would be helpful to get rid of some wounds. Actually, this one would be able to get rid of the wound that you get immediately from something like that. So take this, pay a green, and get Refreshing Walk, and then heal immediately later in that same turn, I guess, because you put the card into your hand, and then you can play it. So we could get this, and then get rid of it, and then we have some good cards for later. I don't think I like that idea all that much. I think I'm going to take Maximal Effect because we just have a couple more turns left, a couple more rounds left, that is. And I'm not going to need, all of these move cards for the end. So I'll probably end up doing that for this round and maybe the next round. We'll see. I'm going to put it here. That means we bring this down. There we go. That is Steady Tempo. It's a good move. And you can actually go, what is this? Oh, this goes onto the bottom of your deck. And you can draw it at the end as well. It's a good one. We also get to choose from one of these. Oh, okay. Those are good. We had the option of taking one of those, but I'll take one before I forget. But because I didn't take Refreshing Walk, that's not an option for me. So let's see here. This one's pretty easy. We can flip this over once per day or night cycle, gain a red crystal and a red or black mana token. That's probably pretty good. Let's see. It would be really good if I had maybe one more spell, a couple spells, so that I have more options. Though Tremor is really good anyway. This one is a way of playing your wounds sideways. We could, if we have one in our hand, play it sideways, and it's a 2 instead of, a 1 if you were to play another card sideways. So play it sideways, and you get a move 2 or shield 2 or block 2 or attack 2, influence 2. Those are the options. That's good if I had a bunch of wounds. You can do it once per turn, per round. I kind of like the idea of just grabbing some crystals, though. And I can maybe just heal, or I have a way of discarding the wound for that stuff. So I think I'm going to take this one, even though I can discard a wound to get a red or a black. This gives me a crystal and a red or a black, so I can put that crystal away and still have something to use. So I'm going to use that one. I can only use that once per round, though, per cycle here. That's the other one. It is just influence, not really anything that excites me too much. All right. So, well, fantastic. We've taken care of that Draconum over there, and now we can move around freely without even using any of these tokens. We can maybe use these tokens later for actually influence, so we can hire something good. Let's take a look at that unit offer, actually, because a core tile, remember country core tile, was pulled, we We fill the offer by starting with gold and then silver and then gold, silver until it's full. So for a solo game, it's gold, silver, gold. And we have these Delphana Masters. And this up there, if you remember from a while ago, there was some spell that allowed you to just take any unit from the offer. Well, that says you can't do that. This is one of those special ones that you can't take. But you can spend a mana to get whatever one of these. They're kind of, I mean, they're expensive for 13 influence. I'm not going to be able to afford that. Maybe with, I have 6 influence right there, but it's probably not going to happen. And then I have to play a mana on top of that. When activating this, you may use multiple different abilities against the same or different targets. So we could use blue, red, green, and white, or any combination of 2, 3 against targets. It does have the resistance. It has an armor of 3, but resistance to all of the types of attacks. So that's also pretty good, but pretty expensive. These herbalists are pretty good at, hey, you can grab a token, you can ready a unit, which is something we haven't seen yet. This is a level 2 unit, so we could ready it. By using the herbalist, we could move our command token off so we can use them again. Or a heal 2 with green. If I can, I will take these, the Altem Guardsmen, the Altem Guardians. Attack 5, block 8, but it counts twice against an attack with swiftness, so the same thing here. And then green, all units you control gain all resistances this turn. So, with a 7 shield or 7 armor, that can soak up pretty much 80% of the incoming attacks with a resistance. So that's pretty good. And then we could soak up a lot more with these as well. So if I can get into a position to take them, I will. But I can only take them, I can only recruit them from a city. Okay, there's a city right there. Something else to keep in mind is when you take a city, every unit that you kill there, you put one of your little tokens in. And each one of these tokens in a city gives you an influence on top of the influence that you spend. So I would have 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I just need to come up with 2 more to get them. So it's not really a difficult task, that is. So, all right, let me just draw up to my hand limit here. That's 5. 1 more is 6. And then it goes to the dummy's turn. White, good to see that. That's not good to see. Okay, damn, that's 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was kind of rough because I started off with 3 cards, 3 spell cards up in the spell offer, and it got every single one of them to add a crystal into their inventory here. So, yikes. That was a pretty fast round for them, but I did spend quite a bit of cards myself. Let's see what we can do next. Maybe, no, there's another wound, but I think I see what we can do. Let's go over to the map real quick, because we do have the monster den right there, and I kind of want to go to that. The only problem with this is that we're going to have to walk through the forest to go here and then walk through the forest to come all the way back. But I mean, we do have these tokens that would help with some movement. Yeah. But I can see what I can do to go there, and I would end up getting a couple crystals. I think to my inventory. And I think they're random. Yeah, they're random. So is it worth going all the way over there for random? Another thing we could do is get moving to reveal one or two more of these over here. And maybe that's what I do, but yeah, let's just do it, I guess. Let's start revealing some tiles. So I'm going to move over to, let's see, if I go over here, I can reveal two from this hex. And then we can see about which, what to do from there. So I'll play March for, let's see here, for 4 using the green from up there. And I think I'm going to play this to, or discard it so that I can get a green, another green token. Because I need to get over here. In order to do that, I need 2, 5, 8 just to get into that hex, and then 2 more to, or up to 4 more to reveal those 2. Well, I can get 4 just from these. And then I would need to use this, the heavier. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to use that, not sideways. I'm going to use this. I'm going to discard it with this to give me a green token. So there's that. That allows me to play March again for another move of 4. And then 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to put the top one right here, and then I'll reveal another one right there. Oh, and it's the blue city. Great. So I, ouch. Okay. This is kind of rough because now we have 2 lakes over here. Well, we've got 1 lake here that takes up 2, and a lake here that takes up 2 hexes. So if I go anywhere over here, I'm going to have to come back through the desert, through this, this space in order to get there. Let's set up this hex real quick. I need a, what is that, a dragon? The dragon seems like something we're going to have to contend with because there he is. It's kind of similar to the last one, whoops, except I can use physical instead of, I can use physical. This is, I think, just a fire drake or something like that. No, it's not. A high dragon. Yep, a high dragon. And that little skull means that if I don't block this, it does double damage. So it would do 12 hits instead of just the 6. And in order to block it, I would need cold fire block 6, which is pretty difficult to get. Really, really difficult to get. Or we come up with 9, a way to kill it at range. So anyway, that's right there. I'm going to have to contend with it because to go from, to enter the blue city, I'm going to have to go from here to here. And that will join that fight. There's a monastery, so we know what that does. That pulls in a chilling stare. This goes to the offer, the unit offer, because it can be not really recruited, but trained from at the monastery. Now they're indifferent to us. So what? We burned a monastery down before. They don't really care. So here's the blue city, and it's coming in at level 8. The first one is 5, the second one is 8, and I don't know how well that can be seen, but that's 2 white and 2 violet. So we need to pull out 2 white, 2 violet, and that will be the enemies for the blue city. And I'll go find that card here in a moment so that we can see the abilities there. Okay, so here means that any ice attack is +2, any fire attack is +2, and any cold fire attack is +1. And once conquered, the owner can spend 7 influence and a mana to gain a spell. So we'll keep that close by. And then here are the 2 whites and the 2 violets. Okay, well, that's kind of in a rough place, particularly, no matter how we enter this during the day or at night, we're going to have to spend 5 to make it through this. This is really bad. There's really no other way to do it except if I put a tile here and then way out there and try and come through the back way, but yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea either. But I do want to put a tile there anyway. We'll stick to that original plan. And there is another monastery, so we'll pull another card. Ice Shield. I don't know why, but I really love this card. Oh, I know why. Let me tell you. Ice Block 3. Reduce the armor of one enemy blocked this way by 3. This is a great one to go with Tremor because we could block some of the incoming block or incoming attacks there, and then further reduce their shields or their attack, their armor. There's another blocking card that I really like as well. But all right, so in this case, I don't put anything else down, but these are some spawning grounds, and that's a dungeon, and the dungeon would give us, nope, sorry, that's a tomb. We would have to fight a Draconum in there, and then we would get a spell and an artifact for winning, but we can't bring any units in. Fair enough. The spawning grounds, we would have to pull 2 tan enemies and get 3 random crystals and an artifact. So both of those places sound pretty delicious to me. The problem here is, well, one, it's all in, it's like a bunch of desert out here. I'd be able to go and take care of this probably. There's one more core tile. If I did something like this, I'd have to go through, 2 desert hexes at night, probably, like this night, and then put it there. There's a mountain, there's this. I would get screwed if I can't use that one hex. I guess maybe this hex, but I still have to go all the way around. So probably not even going to see that tile. But maybe what we want to do is go into here at the very least and then start moving this way so that in the daytime we're able to hit this guy and then maybe take on that dragon and then finally end the last night going into the blue. Okay, from where we're standing, however, I'm not going to be able to do anything else. So that's unfortunately the end of my turn. All of this goes away. Re-rolling. That's a black. That's not very good. And then everything's discarded. Over to dummy. We've got blue. Come on, please. No. Green or red. So they have a very slow turn that time. So back up to 3, that gives us our 6. What do we have here? It would be nice, yeah, just a little bit of move is great. We've got Force of Nature for a siege attack or maybe a big block if I can't do that. And some move, and then the Emerald Ring. Fantastic. Yeah, this might be able to do, I might be able to do this. Let's think about this. I'm going to move. I need a blue in order for that to work, though. Ooh, yeah, I need a blue in order for that to work. I don't have a way of getting blue at all. And so I'd have to play a card sideways. And that I can't do because I want to play all of these. My thought is maybe I play Swiftness. I would probably have to play Swiftness, and then Maximal Effect could be played with this to make it Siege 6, but I still don't think, and then that would be 7, and I don't think that's enough to, I don't think that's enough to take out 2 enemies, and then I get hit, and then it's really bad. Man, yeah, I don't have anything in order to get in there. I don't even have a way of getting white either. I do kind of need, because I have a way of getting red. Red's pretty easy, and I even have red up in the source. I would have to place something sideways to make this work. And even then, I can't make it work. So maybe what I do here is I play these 2 to move into that spawning ground right there. And then in the next turn, I would have a couple more cards in my hand and I could come up with something better. Or I say, screw this all together and maybe go all the way over here. I could go into this hex in order to take on that dragon. That could be something I accomplish with just a little bit more ranged attack. But as of right now, I don't have what I need in order to do that. So just getting rid of 2 move cards, or a stamina and a swiftness in order to stand there, that means I'm going to have to run back. But I think I have to do it. I'm going to move into that hex with a move of 4. I just need 3, but I will use those. And what I have in my hand is I could use this to get a red token, okay? That gets rid of it, and then I can use it immediately for this while throwing away, well, maybe, I don't really like the idea of throwing away Force of Nature, but it might be necessary. Because I feel Siege is going to work, whereas Range might not work. But if we have something in there in our deck, then maybe that's going to help. The Emerald Ring isn't going to help right now. So I will keep it in my hand, and we'll draw up 2 more cards. 1, 2. That was kind of a rough... Jeez. 5 more cards. That was kind of rough. 3, 4, 5. I have, that's it. That's just pulled all of their cards into their, so they're about to call end of round, and I still have quite a bit of cards in my hand. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have this turn, they're going to call it, and then I have 1 more turn. So I have a way of Oh, okay. This is really good. This will be helpful. All right. We're going to fight this. And I'm going to try and use all of my cards now so that then I can draw as many of these as I can. So we're going to fight this. We have to fight it. And yeah, I think it's going to be okay. So let's do it. Let's see what's in there and find out how to solve this puzzle. So here come the two enemies. I'm going to keep them face down while I think a little bit. Yeah, so here's one. And then here's the other one. How am I going to come up with quite a bit? Well, improvisation I can use for a 5 of some kind. Monopole would allow me to either use a second color, including black. So black, I would be able to use anything. And I can't come up with white unless I discard a card, and I'm just not going to do that. So I have a red and I have a black in there, so black is anything. Maximal effect, I've already said, well, I could use it for this. That's really the only option that I have. And then I have a way of getting green if I want to just use this, and then this would just be, you know, a card. Maybe I use it sideways instead of throwing a card away. And then of course I have my Utem Guardsman. If I need some good block or just a little bit more attack because I've made it through the block phase, and I can bring units in with me. So let's do it. Let's see what I can come up with. Okay, couple things here. That one's easy. I can take care of you. This one, unfortunately, they both paralyze too. Funny. This one is interesting because it says 8 and 4. You can only use the 4 if you block it. It's 8 if you try to hit it with range or siege. So it's, what is this, like a wraith of some kind? Yeah, a pain wraith. So it's just harder to hit, you know, maybe going through planes of existence kind of a thing. So you need more attack to hit it in order to kill it in range. However, if you do block it, then you're able to hit it for half of that. This one is just we need 4, and that's a Medusa, I believe. Just don't let it touch you and you'll be fine. Yep, Medusa. Totally makes sense. I mean, it could be called the Gorgon too, but it's called Medusa. So I can easily take this on, and I can block that one to get an attack to make that a 4. Right? Yep. So let's see this. I don't even need to use maximal effect. I will use Force of Nature with this to get Siege 4. Well, I do need a green in order for this to work. So I've already discussed I can use Monopole. Okay. So this way I can use 1 additional die from the source this turn. And if it's black, it can be anything I want. Black can be green in this case. Bam, done. So that is a siege of 4. Don't have to worry about Medusa. Pretty simple. Now let's block this guy. Well, since I don't think I'll be using my Guardsman for anything else, I can have this block of 4 and I'll do that. So it has been blocked completely. Now I just need to come up with 4 attack. Well, that's easy. I can use the stronger effect of improvisation for 5. So there's the second die from from the source. And you know what I'm going to do? No, I have to, you can use one additional die. If that die is black, okay. So one additional die is right there. I'm going to use red right here, and I have to discard a card. This is the tough part here because I kind of wanted to use maximal effect. The only other card I have is the Emerald Ring. Do I care to use that, or so I think I have to use Emerald Ring. This is unfortunate, but I have to discard something, and I want to keep my my maximal effect for a ton of movement to get out of here. I'm hoping that I'm able to pull some movement. I have 7 cards left here, and as it stands, I'm not going to be able to. I'm not going to be able to do anything. But what you can do, and I'm not going to be able to do, is discard any number of cards from your hand so that you can draw more cards after. But you can't do that with wounds, and I want to keep maximal effect. So that is my turn. I've taken out both of these pretty easily, honestly. That goes back. These two get rolled, a red and a green. That could be helpful. Now, I know I could have used maximal effect on this, but I don't want to get rid of this. I kind of want it for the end sieges. So, darn. Okay. Well, we're getting 8 fame out of that. Okay. Oh, and I'm taking another card into my hand, into my deck. Okay, 8. 8 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've leveled up. Nothing else happens up here. And as per the, oh, I also gain a little token. So let's grab that. This allows you to change a black into gold during the day. That makes sense. And at night, you know, you can change a gold into black. That's interesting in a way. You know, if one of those rolls for black, then you've got that. But pretty handy in the case that it happens, and it's kind of rare anyway. So spawning grounds, we get 3 random and then an artifact. Well, I hope the artifact gives me a bunch of movement, and I'm going to just get rid of it immediately. So you roll dice, and in these cases, you get those. So I get a red and a green. Those are both handy. I have so many ways of getting red, and I don't want to even use it that much. And then in the case of gold, I believe it is, let's see, it's either choose anything or you gain fame. The problem with this rulebook, there are many problems. It is so difficult to find what you're looking for because the table of context, honestly, is the worst table of context. And then there's no index to boot. So it's like there's no way to find what you're looking for. You have to know exactly where to find it, and I never know where to find the things that I'm looking for. How do I just want to know when you roll. Oh, okay. Actually, it says it right on the card. I'm being stupid here. If gold is rolled, you choose the color. If it's black, then you gain a fame. So I can choose a color. Yeah, I knew it said it somewhere. I'm just being dumb. I'm kind of thinking blue or white because I don't really want another red. Green would be another good one. but I don't think I'm going to do that either. Blue is kind of the only one that I can't get. I just wonder if I get another stamina. Yeah, stamina is probably the one, not March. I've only used one stamina so far. So let's get a blue. Let's get a blue. Just as something that I can't get. I can get a white if I need to. Okay, well those go away, and we then we get one of these, the Bow of Stars Dawn. When you play this card, discard any amount of cards from your hand. You get range attack 2 for each card you discard this way. Fame 1 for every enemy you defeat in the current phase of combat. Well, that's pretty awesome. Or you can throw it away, and this is probably the one I'm going to get without even looking at the next one. Each of your ranged attacks this turn is either doubled or becomes a siege of the same element. You may also double any siege attacks, but they become ranged attacks of the same element. Okay. So you can go either way with that. That's probably the one I'm going to go for. And oh wow, okay. Endless Gem Pouch. Roll a mana die 2 times. Gain a crystal in your inventory for the same thing. You just gain some random ones. Gain a mana token of each basic color. Also get 1 gold if during the day or black at night. I mean, that's really good. I just don't need it. I don't need that. Because the ones that I do need, like green, I have something for it, and I can get a bunch of red. So I'm taking Bow of Stars Dawn. This is great if you have a bunch of spells, and I don't. So it's not very good for me this time. But honestly, I've never gotten that card when I need it. I always end up choosing the other one, probably. So, okay. Well, here come the other 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. I do, because I leveled up a little bit, let's flip this one over so I can get another unit. And underneath, it says 4/6. So instead of 3, I now have 4 armor, but my hand limit is still 6. We do have 1 more level up if I can get that far, and that increases up to 7, which is pretty nice. Unfortunately, that's it for the dummy. So dummy says this is your last turn. So let's see what we got here. We already know we got that. We do know we got that. Crushing Bolt. Oh man, I don't have any movement cards at all in my hand. This, however, I can use this to draw 2 more cards. I have 4 cards left. So I could draw 2 more cards instead of healing, let's say this and that. I think I'm going to do that. So we're going to use this with that green. Yep. And in that way, I'm going to draw 2 more cards. There's stamina right there, and there's rage. Okay. So let's add those to our hand. And I'm going to use maximal effect with stamina so I can get the heck out of here. I need a red for that to work. Well, I can use this. I'll flip it over and gain a red crystal. That goes into my inventory, and then a red token. So I'll use that right there. And that says I can throw away this card here. So I'll do that. And I can get the bottom for free. I don't have to pay the blue. In this case, I just move 8 now, which is perfect. So before I move away, though, let's throw one of our character tokens into our space. And where do we want to go with all of that? This will be thrown away, so I'll put that right there to remind me that it's gone. And then let's see here. Move 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 2 more move left. I don't think, do I? I don't think. I'm trying to find a way, maybe I can kill that guy. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I might actually be able to. I might. Here. I do have to play 1 card sideways, though. Because I need 1 more movement. I have 2 movement left, and I want to get into those hills to fight that. Well, I don't think it matters. I'm going to take Rage and put it to the side. That gives me 1 more. So if I can't fight this right now, I need 9. Whoops! I need 9 ranged or siege attack right now. And if I can't do that, then I will be in a good position to fight it in the morning, and then I can figure out what to do then. Let's have a think. So I can do it. I can do it, but it requires me to throw this away already, and I'm kind of okay doing that. I typically like to hold on to these and use the top ability at least once, but I think in this case I do need to kill this enemy, and I could either wait and do it in the morning or during the next day cycle, and then assault this city or this city, and then in the night I could do it again. Or I can, but what becomes dangerous is I have to attack 4 or 3 enemies in 1 location. This would be good if I can get it into my hand at the very beginning with a bunch of range. I don't think I'll be able to. Let's just use it now. We're going to use the bottom ability. That means I have to throw this away, and I double my ranged attacks. Okay, well, so thrown away. There it goes. And I have battle versatility, which is a ranged attack 3. There we go. So let's go into the battle station here. Battle stations. So let's pull over this high dragon here. I think he's worth using our Bow of Stars on that we just picked up. Let's put it down right there. So I'm going to be using battle versatility. Well, I need a red token or crystal. I can do that by using my wound here and this. So I'll do this to gain a red token. There's my red token. Let's put it on there right now. That is a ranged attack 6 now because of my Bow of Stars on. Now I can play Crushing Bolt with a green. I'm going to have to use a crystal for my inventory to do that. That's okay, I guess. I wanted to do this without throwing away my bow, and I had 7. I could have 3, 6, 7. That's as high as I could get. This, I would have to discard cards from my hand to get just range attack 2, but these provided more than 2, so it's kind of okay. I'm okay with this. I don't even need that, and that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dead. We've already taken it out, so we don't have to worry about anything else in that case. So let's clean up. reroll. That's a blue. And then we gain 9 fame and 2 reputation. So let's see here, we're on 50, so we go up to 59. And then 2 more reputation. We're actually coming into the positive there. That's pretty nice. Okay, well that takes care of yet another rampaging enemy. So we can now move freely between the blue and white cities without needing to deal with that. And I have 2 full turns to do it, so it makes it much easier on me, on my hands. I can kind of take my time, take one out, and then the next turn take the other one out. That's not so bad. I want to see what I lost out here. Oh, perfect. That was perfect. I don't even care about those cards. So I missed out on a bunch of influence. If I can get, I mean, this now gets refreshed for day 3. So maybe another Ultim Guardians come up. And if they do, then I'm certainly going to take it. I do. My poor peasants here, they're still wounded for the second time, that matter. But yeah, I now feel very safe about this situation up here with that dragon gone. Yeah, it cost me an artifact, but honestly, it's not that bad. We've, in that one turn, you know, we've gone from over here. I think I actually killed that dragon too. Yeah, I did. At the very beginning of night 2, I took care of this dragon, went all the way through the desert, took on a Medusa and what was the other one? And a Pain Wraith, found the Bow of Stars Dawn, and then trekked back through the desert to take on yet another dragon. I mean, the game just makes the story perfectly. That was such an amazing turn. And I didn't even need these 2 cards to boot. So, all right, well, that's the end of night 2. So again, I'll go back through, refresh everything, and then start up for day 3.